A month or two ago, I made a video where I said I bought a bunch of foreign coins from Elvis. In this case, it was not Elvis Presley, but Elvis the coin dealer, who was um, he was named before Elvis was popular. The Elvis Presley was popular, so just also happened to be named Elvis. And I see him at pretty much every coin show I go to in the area. He travels to all the same ones that I go to. And he always has one of the best foreign coin 5 for $1 bins. He does mix in a lot of tokens. He used to have them separated, but now he doesn't carry as much inventory as he used to, so he throws them all into one bin. But at this particular show, I really took the time to sit down and go through everything in the bin and looked at every single coin, which did take me over an hour. I had to pull up a chair, but it was worth it. And then after I made my last video where I said, hey, I got coins from Elvis, my brother wrote me and said, hey, I know that Elvis. I used to work with him. So maybe some more people around the area know this Elvis than I thought. And as a coincidence, he also shares my last name. So I got quite a bit from him out of this $5 or 5 for $1 bin. And let's see, this is $10 worth. So I got 50 coins that we're going to be going through here. And it does include a lot of tokens, but we'll start working our way through these. We're going to start with a coin from Turkey that is over 80 years old. Turkey Cumhuriyeti is what they called their country at the time. So it's got the typical Arabic crescent moon and star inside of it. We flip it over, and it has kind of an Art Deco design from about that time with the 5 kurus from 1939. This is going to be KM 862. Next up is a coin from Libya. This one is going to be a 1 piastre from 1952, KM 1. So the first coin ever made for the country of Libya. Pretty small coin, about the size of a U.S. nickel. For our next Middle Eastern coin, this one is from Algeria. So you've got the crescent moon and star at the bottom, 2 flags coming out of it. And between them is, looks like a hand that has 2 thumbs on it. But that's going to make this a coin from Algeria, and that's a look that they've got on some of their coins. We flip it over. We've got the backward 7 is a 2, and the little diamond or one little dot is their 0. So this is 20 centimes. And it has the date in 2 different styles, but we can read the 1964. This is going to be KM 98. Next up, we have a coin from Iran. And by the way, these coins are in no particular order, just the order that I looked them up in my catalog. But this is a well-worn coin, but also a very rare coin. See, Iran is the lion holding a sword with a crown above it, and also I guess that sun rays coming out from behind the lion. Well-worn and cleaned. And despite that, this coin still has a book value of $3. This one is from 1935, 10 dinars, and is KM 1124A. While we have coins from Iran, here's another one, a little bit newer. This one's a larger coin, about the size of a United States $half. And the features on this one are in a lot better shape because this one is from about 1963. There are 2 variations of this coin, thin and the thick planchet version. We have another value of 10. Unfortunately, this one has a lot of, this must have been taped to something at one time because it's got some goo in the shape of a rectangle on here, but still, it's not a coin that you see all that often. At 10 rials, 1963, and KM 1177A. Next up, we have this 4-sided with rounded corners coin from Swaziland. If you're watching this in the future and you've never heard of Swaziland, today this country is called Eswatini. And we flip it over, and this is going to be in the FAO coin because it says increase exports, 2 cents, 1975. This coin is in quite dirty condition, but I hope you can still read. It has a 10 in the middle with the word centimes. This one is going to be from Luxembourg with Charlotte, Grand Duchess of Luxembourg, with the date of 1950. I meant to say that coin was from 1930, not 50. Next up, these are a couple of coins that I picked up because they're worth it just in foreign exchange value, and I think they're nice additions to when I do sell my lots on eBay, which is not very often, but I like to throw in things like this, larger coins with a little bit larger value than you normally see. But this is the Australian 50-cent coin with the coat of arms, has the kangaroo and the emu on the side with the typical portrait of Queen Elizabeth that we see a lot. Next up, we have a cleaned coin from Somalia. It shows the elephant on this side. So for the people that like to collect coins with animals, here you go. And we flip it over. This is a 1 centesimo from 1950. And I think this coin was actually minted in Rome, which is why it says Roma there on the top left in 1950. This is the first coin from Somalia, so it's KM1. I am still surprised every time I find silver in a foreign coin bin like this. So you'd think someone would have beat me to it, but not in this case. This one is from Japan. It's a 100 yen, so even though this coin is now over 60 years old, it's 100 yen, still worth $1. So in exchange value, it's still worth it. But in silver, it's 60% silver. It's about the size of a U.S. quarter. And it's got about $2.25 U.S. dollars worth of silver in it. Comes to less than 1/10 of an ounce. But I think I have. Do I have that upside down? No, I think I had it right the first time. Well, this side I know which is up. So they, the way they determine the year on Japanese coins, it's the year of the rule of the emperor. So it's not going to say 1959 on it, but it is going to say year 34. So we've got a 3, a plus is 10. So to put those together, you have 30. And then that, I say sometimes it looks like a playground slide, but that's their number 4. So year 34 of the reign of that particular emperor. Next up, we have a small coin from Belgium about the size of a United States dime. From the year 1912, has a large monogram of an A for the monarch there. And Albert, King of Belgium. What it says around the edge. And then we have this lion design that was common to a lot of Belgian coins back then. The lion holding some kind of a tablet of some kind right there. 1 centime. It's going to be KM77. Silver coin number 2 is kind of a common one. It's from Canada. It's their 10-cent coin with the sailboat on it from 1961. At the time, they were doing 80% silver, and their silver weight on these coins were very convenient. The average coin would have 0.0600 ounces of silver, which roughly translates today to about $1.80 in U.S. exchange value of bullion value. We have George VI, King and Emperor of India. This coin is going to be from Ceylon, 5 cents, 1942. This is the thick planchet version, so it has a KM of 113.1. If that's the thick version, just imagine what the thin version was like. Next up, we have this coin from Spain, which does seem to have a little bit of an interesting history to it. It has a date of 1937, and El Año I can't read that. But this came during a time of political unrest, and I'm going to read the note that my price guide has on this 25 centimes coin. This coin was issued by way of decree April 5, 1938 by Franco and the nationalist forces that controlled the majority of Spain at this point in time. So that is KM 753. Another coin I pick up just because of the exchange value. This one is from Britain, not that rare, but it has a little bit of value to it compared to what I paid. A 50-pence coin from Great Britain. This is the reduced size version from the year, this one's dated 1997, KM 940A. Here is a new country represented in my collection. It is Qatar and Dubai. So we've seen Qatar coins before, and some people call it Qatar. And Dubai is now part of the United Arab Emirates, but when it was his own country, the two of them had a common currency. So this is my first coin from Qatar and Dubai. 5 dirhams from 1966. And on this side, I didn't write down what kind of animal that is, maybe a springbok. But it is going to be KM number 2. And it looks like it says 1977 on the top, but in the Arabic, their 7 or their 6 looks like R7. So this coin really is 1966. Here we have a brass 3-pence coin, George VI, King and Emperor. These aren't particularly rare from Britain, but it is rare if you're looking for one from Fiji, where they made them the same shape and size, but it has what I would consider kind of a Fiji tiki hut look to it, which I think is kind of neat. Unfortunately, there's some kind of liquid or something kind of got spilled on this one, so it's not as not very clean of a coin, but still that's a neat design that you don't see very often. That one was from Fiji, and they only made it for 1 year. Next up, we have Mayrock is Morocco, 20 francs. Their coins tend to have a pentagram on it. Their date is 1371. That's really 1951. This coin is KM50. This coin does have a little bit of damage to it. It's warped, but still it's a country that you don't see that often. From Newfoundland, that is today part of Canada, but it was also under the oversight of the British at the time. So in 1942, they have some kind of plant on there in this 1 cent coin. So it still has the British monarch, which was George VI, and a little bit of extra writing in Latin around the side. This is KM18. Another coin I pick up all the time that I will see one if it's cheap is the Swiss 1 franc. This is a coin design which has not changed in over 100 years. So the one on the right there says 1996. The one on the left has a date of 1968, and you can see that there's almost no difference between these two. But in exchange value, 1 franc is worth more than $1 US. So people ask me all the time, exactly where do I go to get trade these in? And the answer is I just don't. But if I had to someday, well, there you go, I have them. But usually I buy these to actually put them in my buy, sell, trade pile. This coin is unfortunately corroded quite a bit, but it is another country that we don't see represented very often. It's got this, I guess that's a lion, but it got kind of some Asian design elements to it that you don't see very often. And it also has an alphabet that you don't see very often. They have lots of dots and circles in them. I don't even know if that's right side up or upside down. Let's try it like that. This is from Myanmar. and it's got a value of 1 paya or pia, and a date of approximately 1950. Since I can't read their date on there, KM32. A while back, this dealer had a lot of cleaned coins, and I'm not sure why, but I'll pick them up for fillers in my collection, especially, sometimes I don't really mind the nice shiny coin if it's not too obvious. This is going to be a 5 centimes coin from Luxembourg. So we again have another coin from Charlotte, the Grand Duchess of Luxembourg from 1930. This one's going to be KM40. Republic of Österreich, that is Austria. I don't know if this represents anyone in particular, but I like the hat that they're wearing. This one is going to be a 10 groschen coin from having trouble reading that, 1925, KM 238. Here we have a coin from Bulgaria. I kind of think of them as a non-Soviet country that does use the same Cyrillic alphabet. They do make some slight variations to their coins, and sometimes it's what appears in the banner below the lion. This particular lion design almost looks like it's doing kind of a shove with one arm and an overhand hook punch coming with the other arm. But I think the year that their culture began, I think that usually says 9IX, and then 1944 when the country was formed following World War II. This is going to be a 2 statinki from 1962. This coin was only made for 1 year. It's KM60. From the Bank Royal of Burundi, which is advertised BRB, or Be Right Back, they have 1 franc. And this one is in uncirculated condition, so I really like this one. That side I'm going to have trouble reading, but it probably also says the Royal Bank of Burundi. Has a date of 1965. We've got a roaring lion there in the middle. KM number 6. A couple of years before the U.S. made their bicentennial quarters, Canada had their centennial quarter, 1973, 25 cents. It shows one of their Mounties on a horse. This side is the standard design. I believe this is going to be the last silver coin that I found in the lot. This one is from Mexico. It's a 20 centavos from, 72% silver, or 0.0772 ounces of silver. And just doing some quick math in my head, that's going to be about 2 1/4. This is larger than a dime, maybe smaller than a U.S. nickel. There we have kind of the typical design that we see for Mexican coins on this side. KM 438. And I was wrong on the math. It's about $1.50 worth of silver. It does have a big corroded spot up there. So this is only going to be the bullion value. Next up, we have a coin from South Vietnam from 1953. And let's see, I don't know who these 3 ladies are, but we flip it over. And this coin is 10 Sue. And KM1, so the first ever coin from South Vietnam. Although they only label it as Vietnam. I already had this, but I like to pick it up anytime I find it. It is from Mexico. It is the 1,000 peso, which was about the largest denomination coin they made before they revalued their currency just a couple of years later. In fact, I think 91 was the last year before they revalued them. And when they revalued them, 1,000 old pesos became 1 new peso, the same peso they use today, which means this coin has a foreign exchange value of 5 United States cents. But KM 536. And I did think this one was in quite nice shape. And since it's a larger coin, you can see the details really quite well on here. This coin has a date that looks like 202 something, like 2026 or so. This coin is from Nepal, where they don't use the same calendar that we use. This coin is actually from 1971. It's going to be 10 paise. This is going to be one of their FAO coins. And so they're one of the few cultures that has a 1 that's not just a straight line. It almost looks like a melting 2, maybe. I don't know. But that is 10 paise from Nepal. This is going to be the oldest coin of the day. It is from 1826, and it is very well worn, but it has a large W monogram with a crown above it. Flip it over, and it has a 1 and a C on the other side. That is 1 cent from the Netherlands. KM7. I think I already had the 1/2 cent, which looked almost identical, except it was smaller and had a 1/2 on this side instead of just the number 1. But yeah, pretty well worn for being nearly 200 years old. I was surprised to see that I did not have the Italian 10 euro cent until this one. So this is from 2002. The Italian euros have a large I on top of a slightly smaller R, which you can see over here on the left. This side is the standard 10 euro cent design that we normally see. So Italy. Compare that to Ireland coins, which do not have a lot of variety. But they always have their ire and the harp, year 2002. This one's going to be a 50 euro cent, so that's good to pick up anytime you see one in a quarter bin anyway. Guatemala's currency is the quetzal, so this is 1 quetzal. It celebrates, I think, their re-independence of December 29th of 1996, and has somebody's signature on here, I believe, on the quetzal, but this is the size of a $half, I think. So it was actually minted in 1999. If you like coins with animals, this one has a rhino on it from 1998. This is going to be from India and is 25 paise. And KM54. For our next animal, we have this FAO coin with a camel. Food security for the 21st century, year 2000. Flip this one over. It's going to be from Somalia, where they have their currency here listed in 2 different languages. On the left, it says shillings, which would have been part of their, I guess, a British heritage. And on the right, it says scalini. So this is their 10 shilling or 10 scalini coin, KM46. This is another Arabic coin, and I just happen to recognize the design, even though it doesn't have any English letters on it. It's got the 2 swords making kind of an X, has what appears to be chains holding everything together, and maybe some sort of bottle above that. This is going to be from Oman. Flip it over, and we've got... Well, it does have a date we can read of 1999. They're number 5, so it's 5 besa. KM150. That is the last coin we're going to look at, but now we're going to go through some of the tokens that I picked up from this dealer. If you're subscribed to my channel, then you probably noticed that I post lots of things that have nothing to do with coins. If you're still around and watching these videos, I appreciate it, but I live in the Nashville area, and so I am interested in things locally, and I found some tokens that are also of local interest. This one is a bus token from, I believe this one goes back from 1945. It's called Southern Coach Lines. And like a lot of tokens, it has a letter carved out on it, so it's got an N carved out on it. Kind of a backward end from that design, but we flip it over and it says good for one fare. And so these sell all the time in the Nashville area for about $2 each. So I was glad to find another one at a good price. I've gotten more interested in smashed pennies lately, and so I found this one, another local one, celebrating Elvis. Just has a signature on the side, nothing on the back. So we've just got an Elvis signature smashed penny. If you grew up in the 70s, 80s, or 90s in Nashville, then you probably liked Opryland, and you're probably sad that it's no longer here, that they tore it down to build a mall. But here we have a game token from Opryland. So it's got the, I guess that's almost like a lute for the O, and the rest of Opryland forming a flag saying Nashville, Tennessee, and then your typical no cash value on this side. So that was neat to pick up, just for the old memories. This token was meant to be an advertisement. The Tennessee Exchange Incorporated Stamps and Coins. There's their phone number, Nashville, Tennessee, 37202, and their P.O. box. I looked them up. They are long out of business. They've probably been out of business for 40 or 50 years at least. But they have kind of a replica of an Indian head on here used in the United States Bicentennial. So 1976. So they were at least, at least they were here 45 years ago. But and it's still in pretty good shape for being that old. So I don't know how many people would want this, but that thought it was kind of interesting. This is a fairly recent token on it because it has a website address on it, but this is the national newspaper called the Tennessean. Has their website at the bottom, your 21st century newspaper. And flip it over. This one says, have a free paper on us. So get a free trial issue of the local newspaper. This is kind of a larger token, a good luck token. It has a horseshoe, a wishbone, and a 4-leaf clover on it. Hoping that you have good luck, and flip it over. It has the Golden Jubilee celebration of Union Ice Cream, and then in a really small print right here, Union Ice Cream is part of the Sealtest brand. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that is local. I've seen more of them in the Chattanooga area than Nashville, but apparently this is a local brand. So I thought, I don't collect a lot of tokens, but I thought this one was really nice. I only bought this one because I needed to buy one more to make it a nice round $10, but it says gold coin on it. Obviously, this is not really a gold coin, but it's just another play value token. The best in fun for everyone. So I don't even know where that's from, but I just thought it's funny that it said gold coin on it. Here's another transportation token. This one says a bicentennial token. From 1976, this shows Independence Hall in Philadelphia. And I think that's the logo of the transportation line right there. And so it says, so it's SEPTA is the company. One fare. I guess that's like a bus or subway on the right, and that might be the outline of the shape of the city of Philadelphia, I guess. I've told myself that if I find any casino tokens in a 25-cent bin, I'm going to start to pick them up. Not that I'm really into gambling or casinos or anything like that. I just think it's kind of another interesting thing to look for. This is the first one I found. It's a 25-cent gaming token from Harrah's of Metropolis, Illinois. Oddly enough, since I've purchased this lot, I passed through Metropolis just so I could see the giant Superman that they have on the square. They celebrated the 50th year of being recognized as the official hometown of Superman just in June of 22. But flip it over. Acceptable only at Harrah's Casino in Metropolis, Illinois, and it got 25 cents. So I just think these have really interesting designs. They're much more interesting than arcade video game tokens. This is the last thing we're showing in the video, and I'm saving the best token for last. This one is made in 1961, celebrating the New York World's Fair, which ran from 64 to 65. We've got kind of that world logo that was part of that fair. So things having to do with that World's Fair, perhaps the most popular World's Fair of all time, are valuable in and of itself. But then you flip it over and you see that it's one fair of the Long Island Railroad. So the way that you would get to the World's Fair, they hoped, would be by taking this railroad. And so it's the route of the dashing commuter. So people who like railroads, transportation tokens, and the World Fair all have something to like about this specific coin. And it's kind of got a cute design of a guy who's rushing, hurrying to get everything where he needs to be. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video with the $10 worth of coins and tokens that I picked up from Elvis, and I hope you check out my foreign coin playlist here at the end. Thanks for watching. Bye.